Hi, it's Tracy Build, and today I want to talk briefly with you about the backup team and their role in the sales process. Remember that only 20% of incoming calls reach an actual sales counselor, meaning that 80% of those calls that you're working so hard to generate are going to someone else. My question is who? Who's getting these calls? Well, clearly, if you're a sales counselor, you're probably on tours, already on the phone with a prospect, out doing outreach, perhaps having lunch, and you're therefore unavailable. So your front desk is transferring those calls to anybody from maintenance to med techs to housekeeping, business managers, the executive director, and what you want to do is have a turnkey system in place for communication that helps your front desk person to understand who's in line to get the calls. In my book, Zero Lost Revenue Days, which you can access on my website, I teach you a very step-by-step system to capture all of your incoming calls. For an overview, I'd like to share with you what you need to do. You need at minimum 3 people. We call this your hierarchy. 3 people that are in line to take incoming calls when they come in. So ideally, a sales counselor would be first, probably an executive director, second or third, and either second or third, depending on who chooses that, might be a business manager. You might have a great activities director. What you want is someone who has the ability to use a full inquiry connection sheet on these inquiry calls. I am sure that somewhere in your community you can find 3 people, and really just 2 outside of the sales counselor, who can use the inquiry connection sheet. And as I always say, if you can read, you can use that sheet. And of course, the better they get, the more comfortable they get, the stronger their conversion ratios will become. So the first 3 on the hierarchy will use the full inquiry connection sheet. Some of our best properties have 5 people in their hierarchy, and all 5 are available and ready to use the inquiry connection sheet. Now, it's up to the front desk to understand who's up to bat. So you need some kind of communication log or chart or dry erase board where the individuals on the hierarchy are responsible for writing themselves in and out, so the front desk person or concierge knows exactly who to transfer the calls to. Another great idea, and a simple one, is to invest in walkie-talkies. Just a basic walkie-talkie will do, and you can even pick those up at Walmart or Target or Home Depot very inexpensively, and you can use those to communicate to see if the individual's available to take the call. And I'd rather you tell the person calling in, could you hold just one moment? I'm just going to make sure that so-and-so is at their desk before I transfer you. I think it shows that their call is very important. So you want to make sure the call is not being captured just by the receptionist, but being captured and handled by someone who can actually provide a great degree of service. It does no good to take an inquiry call and transfer it to voicemail. We know many calls are lost along the way because people simply don't like to leave messages. They're just going to move on to the next person who takes the call and actually helps them. We know that minimally 40% of all incoming sales calls are mismanaged, meaning they're being dropped because they're being sent to voicemail, they're being told to call back in the afternoon or tomorrow. The person answering the phone is not capturing any sort of information. That's the industry statistic provided by Promatura. I believe in our experience of doing mystery shops daily that it is closer to 60%, and on weekends and nights it's as high as 75%. If you want to really find out what's happening, I challenge you to do some mystery shops yourself of your competitors, not just during the day, but at night and on the weekends, and shop yourself, particularly at night and on the weekends. What you find will absolutely floor you, and no one ever thinks that's them that's guilty. I'm telling you, odds are it is. So shop yourself, shop your competitors. It will create a great sense of urgency around this issue. Now, for the rest of the team, particularly on nights and weekends, you want to use the short night and weekend backup sheet. And what this will do for you is make sure that the most basic of information is captured and a quality level of service is provided to your callers. And you can access all of our connection sheets, both the inquiry connection sheet and the short night and weekend sheet, if you're not a client, on our website at tracybuild.com in our company store. We have all of our color-coded inquiry connection sheets. They're very inexpensive, and you'll recapture that investment, how minuscule it is, literally with your first or second captured call. If you're already a client, you should have all of these in hand. So what you want to do right now is evaluate your inquiry system, do a couple shops, day, night, weekend, maybe 3, 4, then have a meeting with your department head staff, and if you can, your entire team, reveal the findings, and then I want to encourage you to roll out your short night and weekend connection sheet with your entire community. That would be people that would possibly take an inquiry call. Let me put it that way. Day, night, weekend staff. Then you want to have a different meeting with your A team or your core backup team that would be using the in-depth core inquiry connection sheet, okay? And that would be your hierarchy of 3 to 5 deep, and just walk them through how to use that inquiry sheet. And you can access many of these podcasts by just scrolling down that teaches you how, or you can get the full webinar on my website in my store at tracybuild.com on the inquiry process. Very simple, and if they watch the webinar, they're going to understand fully how to use these sheets. And again, most of you watching this are already in our training, so you're going to just take what you're learning, because you know more than them, and teach your team how to capture these calls. I believe each of you has enough traffic to fill your buildings. And if you think traffic is the problem, I almost guarantee you that you could almost double your traffic by shoring up these lost leads and implementing a system for your backup teams. So get started, not tomorrow, literally today. It's that important. Thank you.